Hi, hello, Passive Pixels. Look at that. You have no idea, but we just recorded an entire special episode because I didn't plan this properly and didn't realize we were going to go for 2 hours. This is the normal episode now. Welcome to whatever fifth, sixth episode this is. I don't remember anymore, okay? I've been recording for 2.5 hours now. I don't know if anything makes sense anymore. My list is horrific. My list is Days Gone and Dr. No. We have two people with us here. Addy, he was here earlier. He's a good man. Straw Hat Ninja, he's also a good man. I question his taste in things, but I still like him enough that I don't, break ties with him. Straw Hat, how are you doing? This is a second intro.
I am doing well. Actually, I don't want to interrupt you here, but I'm probably going to have to bounce at this point.
That is fine.
It's getting
Straw
pretty
Hat.
late for me,
Straw Hat.
so
Straw Hat, it's okay, child. We love you. You've done great stuff for us. Go on ahead. Go on ahead. Plug something, man. Plug in
Thank you
your
for being our
podcast.
13th Sentinel expert. Thank you.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but yeah, I got a podcast kind of like how Ed mentioned before, Weebs of the Corn. We just recorded our second episode. It is going to go live. I think we're shooting for Mondays at 3, and Apple has finally accepted us.
Woo!
So
fuck Apple for delaying
we'll
it.
finally get that one. But I have one episode out so far, and this next episode is going to be about upcoming anime and games that we are looking forward to. Nier is mentioned, like I told Ed before. So
I will be listening.
We forgot to mention Pokemon Snap because we were talking about Nier for we didn't talk too long about it, but I was like focused on April and I just saw Nier, and then I shouted out Cold Steel 4 coming to Switch and Steam, even though it's not a new game, but I had to shout out. But we were so focused on Nier that we forgot Pokemon, even though my co-host Justin Destruction is a huge Pokemon fan. So, but yes, look forward to that.
Straw Hat, thank you for your time. You're a
Yes.
good man. Although this episode is literally just starting for anyone who's listening to it, it just feels like you just walked in and walked out.
Like, oh, I'm here, intro, plug myself, I'm gone. That's all I'm here for. So.
It's the Abe Simpson gif.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed talking about this game.
I love you, Straw Hat.
Straw Hat, you're a good man. We'll see you on the internet. Just feel free to close the tab. It's okay.
All right, later, guys.
This episode is what, 3 minutes in? We'll just say fucking 3 minutes. It's already a mess.
Yeah, this episode's already a shit show.
Straw Hat, you're a good man. Carry on. Have fun.
Hi, I'm Addiholic.
Yes, we have a Canadian with us. I should have called the fucking Mounties or something. Oh my god. Addy, give us your list.
Yeah, I played too much shit, to be honest with you. So I watched too much shit, played too much shit, whatever. We just talked about 13 Sentinels. That was great. But, I played some good games too. Played Mortal Kombat. I played Overwatch. I played Sunset Overdrive. I played Persona 4 Golden. I watched some movies too. A lot of DC shit. Some good stuff in there. I think the best place to start would definitely be with just kind of go from movies to games and kind of work my way that way. So, hello? Oh no.
My computer just crashed. Computer straight up fucking blue screen right as we were rolling. Oh my god. Oh, this is such a mess. Okay, you know what? I was going to say you can toss it in however order you want. You can do it from least interesting, most interesting. Fuck it, it's already off the rails. Go for it. Do what you want.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just start with. I was gonna say we'll start with the movies and then move our way into the games. So we could start with my movie. I think you got a movie in there too. Most of my movies were DC movies. I basically been rewatching all of the DC movies to get to the new Justice League movie. So it started with Birds of Prey, which was the 2020 movie with Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn. Big fan of the movie. I don't think it's phenomenal cinema by any means, but I think it's a lot of fun. Had a lot of heart. Really good movie. I will say this, Ewan McGregor absolutely steals the movie as Black Mask. He's just phenomenal. Have you seen this movie, Ed? You have.
I have. I actually watched this one in theaters. This was one of the last ones that I picked up while I still had AMC A-List. I don't know if you know what AMC A-List is, do you?
It's like Movie Pass, right?
Yes, correct. Which, you know what? Leading into that, did you ever have Movie Pass?
We didn't have it in Canada.
Oh my god.
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
What Xbox Game Pass is to video games is what Movie Pass is, except imagine if Microsoft was worth about half a sandwich and a couple of pennies. Like,
Yeah, I followed the whole thing pretty closely on Reddit. It was crazy. I remember when that happened.
holy shit. It was hilarious because I was scamming Movie Pass almost every single day. I would go and I would just buy movies and just collect the points. And not only that, whenever they would tell me I couldn't go into Dolby Atmos, what I would do is that I would check in for a different movie and then use Movie Pass to basically subsidize my Dolby Atmos ticket. It was a great time.
Oh, was that broken? You could do that, eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, it's that broken. But after Movie Pass went down, I waited a little bit, and then I want to say, starting with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I saw that there was going to be a good slate of movies that I was going to want to watch. So I bought A-list for both me and my wife, and then I think the reason I asked about Game Pass a while back about if you can just jump in for a month and cancel is because A-list has a thing where I think if you jump out, you can't sign back up for 6 months. Basically, what I did is that I jumped in August for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think I canceled around February, and Birds of Prey was one of the last ones I watched in theaters for that. I remember thinking, okay, yeah, that was an okay movie. For me, when it comes to movies in general, I don't like it when they fall in the middle, but I think this movie does enough good things that I don't feel bad about my time with it. Because even though it feels like overall it's, yeah, okay, it's fine, it feels like it's mostly either boredom or stuff that's just insane where I'm like, I'm still enjoying this.
Yeah, that makes total sense. This movie's actually probably a good little bit of a litmus test for that because there's a lot of it doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a lot of really insane moments in there. And circling back, I think Ewan McGregor is the source of a lot of those moments in the movie.
Ewan McGregor is absolutely the person who holds this movie up. This man is just having so much fun. It just looks like they gave him a paycheck that was just so big that he was just giddy the entire time that the movie was being filmed. Not only that, like, the thing is that whenever I think about this movie, I think about that face peeling scene and how he's just like, oh, can you not do that? Like, he was visibly disgusted by it, but he knows that it still needs to get done. Like, I feel like that's such a good emblematic moment for that character.
Absolutely. And it's the type of movie too, I honestly feel like where Ewan McGregor could have just taken a paycheck. Like I really feel like he could have just taken a paycheck with this movie, kind of phoned in a performance, and it still would have been okay. But the fact that he managed to take this movie and elevate it from to actually what I found to be a really enjoyable movie, I think that's really cool.
Now, I am curious. Do you know what the initial story was supposed to be between him and Black Mask?
No, no, I didn't.
So I don't know if it's substantiated or not, but the rumor is that the original story was supposed to be not a chase for diamonds, but a chase for gay pictures between him and Black Mask. And so the idea is that everyone was vying for these pictures to blackmail him with.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I wonder why they changed that.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's part of me. Okay, is there any history of Black Mask or Zaz being gay?
That I can think of, no. Like that's why one of the reasons why I found this movie hilarious was this was just such a completely fresh take, especially on Zaz, because Zaz is just a hardcore, straight up psychopath. Like he's just crazy Arkham Asylum always, and if he gets out, he's slaughtering some people and getting himself right back in there. So to see this turn with him, it was just so out of left field.
The reason I brought up the question for comics is because I wouldn't be shocked if producers at Warner Brothers who are in charge of DC are looking at a whole bunch of stuff and they're like, I don't know, do we want to piss off comic book fans? Like, we're kind of deep in this shit right now with almost everything that we've done. So I don't know if that's something that was an actual thought process for them.
Yeah, honestly, Warner Brothers is known for being very restrictive with the DC universe. I mean, look at what happened with Justice League, which I'll touch on in a bit. But that's all you need to do to see exactly how shit they are.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, I really wanted a breakfast sandwich watching this movie.
Oh my god, the breakfast sandwich.
We just got done with the 13 Sentinels podcast, and this is gonna come out first before that one. So fuck it, I'm still gonna say it anyways. Yakisoba pan, is made such a character in that game, and that breakfast sandwich is like at least top 5 characters in this movie, because I don't think there are that many characters in here anyway, so I don't feel too bad saying that.
No, I think that's totally accurate. It's a character onto itself because all you want is for Margot Robbie, for Harley Quinn to enjoy her fucking breakfast sandwich, and she keeps getting fucked out of it throughout the entire movie.
Oh my god, the hyena! I just remembered about the hyena.
Yes, the
God, that
hyena is
just
fucking awesome. That's totally a throwback to the comic books, which is and just the series in general, which is fantastic. But I love it. There's actually a lot of that little stuff in this movie. Black Canary being in this, so cool, which is really neat. Even though her character isn't the best, but it's still pretty cool to see her in the universe. Just the way that, again, Zaz, the way he's in there is kind of like a side piece. There's a lot of really cool things in this movie.
I need to remind myself, Black Canary, she was the singer, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say, oh wait, no, it's not so that's the thing. I was thinking for a second it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead, because I remember her just being the blankest, most straight up cliche slate I've ever seen.
No, yeah, that's definitely a separate character. Who did she play? She played Huntress.
Yeah, which I just remember paying attention to her. I'm like, man, if you casted even just someone who had like an iota less of charisma than Mary Elizabeth Winstead, this character would completely fall apart. But Mary Elizabeth Winstead is just trying so hard to not seem like the insecure woman that she is. And I'm like, okay, you know what? At least I don't hate you. I just hate everything about you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's one of my favorite actresses. This isn't her best role, but she definitely carried that character and then some. Anybody else, that character's in the toilet. I agree.
I do enjoy that it doesn't seem like they ever talk about Jared Leto at all. Like they just, precisely just make it sound like we don't talk about him anymore. Like that sounds so hilarious to me that even the DC universe is like, yeah, we kind of was a mistake, wasn't it?
Well, I think there's a meta aspect to it because the whole movie is basically about Harley Quinn's breakup with him. I don't know, man. I think this is also partially the DC universe's breakup with him, at least hopefully. But yeah, I fully agree. And one of my notes here is that I honestly really like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think she's a fantastic Harley Quinn. Please, for the love of God, if you bring her back, not just for the Suicide Squad, but for a Batman movie or whatever, get her a fucking good Joker to work with. Please.
I swear to God, just because there are so many people that when Joker came out, they're like, how is this Joker gonna fight Batman? I swear if I see one person say, hey, you should put Joaquin Phoenix and Margot Robbie, I will snap them out of existence if I have to.
Yeah,
I don't know how I'm going to do it legally, but I'll figure it out.
Legally, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, look, I love Joker. I could talk about Joker forever, but that is a completely separate universe, a completely separate Joker, and it's even debatable whether he is the real Joker, but that's a whole other conversation for another time.
I don't even want to ask those questions. That's the thing. I mean, Joker is just so out of universe, its own thing, that I don't even want to think that Bruce Wayne even becomes Batman. I just think he becomes a rich druggie and dies at some point.
Well, for sure. There was a story circulating about that. I don't know if you ever heard about that, but I'm not sure if it was like a rumored. And I don't know if we should spoil Joker. Does this spoil Joker? You know,
Okay.
I'll save it because it could fail. I don't want to spoil Joker. So,
hold on. Look, we'll count it down if you want. If you count it down in
Okay.
3, 2, 1 with enough space, I'll add a timestamp.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. There's that one scene in Joker near the end of the movie where basically Bruce Wayne's parents get shot. Shocking. It happens in every Batman movie.
What? Batman's parents die? What?
I know, right? But apparently there was talk of the original ending being Joaquin Phoenix. After all the carnage, after he becomes Joker with all his adoring fans, he basically walks by that alley and sees Bruce Wayne and his parents beside him dead, and Joaquin just kind of laughs, takes out his gun, and shoots Bruce Wayne right in the head. I thought about if that happened, if that ending was real, how fucking metal that would have been.
That would have been hardcore as fuck. Oh my god. Okay, I can tell you right now, Joker is something that I will talk about again at some point. I feel like I enjoyed it in theaters, but progressively in my mind, my respect for that movie drops with time. So I don't know if I watch it again, I'll still hold it in the same esteem. But I don't know if that's just because the internet has been saying society for like the last 2 years that I've lost respect for that movie.
Yeah, that'll fucking do it.
I mean, but I will rewatch it, and I can tell you right now though, him point. Ooh, okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not even putting a timestamp. I'm just gonna fucking clear this all up. The point that he point blanks Robert De Niro is
Oh,
hardcore as fuck. The
that
violence
scene.
in Joker is so fucking unsettling. Watching that shit in theaters and you can't escape it is an event.
Yeah, you might go back and watch that movie and hold it in lower esteem. That's totally fine. But I guarantee that scene will still hit hard for you because that scene, like when you get to that point, everybody's just on the edge of their seat, pins and needles. What the fuck is going to happen? Because they do a really good job of building it up. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
Not only that, whenever he gets into the train segment and he starts blasting him and he's crawling away and then he points blanks him in the back, and doesn't he even run out of bullets, reload, and then keep shooting?
Yeah, that's what he's like running out of the train after that one guy. Yeah.
God, there's just something so unsettling about the like you can say that endorphins make you waste the entire round, but then when you go and reload and you have that little realization moment and then you keep going, that's the moment. Like it reminded me of Shawshank whenever they're talking about he shot 14 bullets into his wife and her lover. He reloaded. He stopped to think about it. It's no longer a crime of passion. Like I kept thinking that during that
Yeah.
scene. I was like, yeah, that's Joker, when you blasted them in the train, okay, self-defense. You hunted this man down. Did he deserve it? Yeah. It's. I don't want to say yeah because it sounds really harsh, but you know, I get it. Up until when you reloaded, I was like, okay, oh, you gotta pull it back there.
Yeah, that's all Joaquin, man. Not Wa- Joaquin in that movie is one of the biggest examples of an actor carrying a movie ever, in my opinion. Like it's just phenomenal.
So man, yeah, that was Birds of Prey.
Yeah, Birds of Prey, fantastic. Anyways, moving on from Birds of Prey. Next up, we've got Wonder Woman 1984.
We're revisiting this. All right, let's go.
Yeah, because you've already talked about this movie.
I'll still let you have the floor.
Yeah. Look, the movie's not great. All right, I will be the first person to admit that. I don't think it's as bad as Ed. I had enough enjoyment with it for what it was. My biggest problems with the movie are the villains in the movie. I'm not a big Pedro Pascal fan to begin with. His character just didn't do much for me. I mean, the best thing to come from him was that stupid meme, life is good, but it could be better. That's the best fucking thing to come from that movie. Kristen Wiig, I've never been a big Kristen Wiig fan. She's not good in that role. I'm sorry. She's just not.
Kristen Wiig. I want to jump in there.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig. Okay, not the woman herself. I just realized that sounded wrong. I want to jump in on her character. No, that still sounds wrong too because she gets sexually assaulted. I want to talk about her character. I don't feel like Kristen Wiig is good here because I will echo what I said when I talked about this, is that I feel like Kristen Wiig is too talented of a comedian to be able to play a straight character without her comedy falling through. Like, she's a better comedian than she is an actress, and she falls into comedy way too often in scenes that I feel like we're supposed to be taking her seriously.
I 100% agree with that.
Pedro Pascal is bad in this movie. He is bad in this movie.
Yeah,
but
and I don't think he's that bad of an actor. I'm not a big fan of him, but I think he's been better in other roles. This role, it's just a miss for him.
For me, what I think, though, is that he gets into bad territory where it becomes entertaining. I mean, this man becomes president of the United States and just starts shouting through TVs going, "Give me your life force!" Like, this man is a villain from Power Rangers at this point. He is that picture of that woman going, 10,000 years, I'm free! Like, that's Pedro Pascal at the end of this movie. And then he meets his kid. His kid has been wandering for 2 different states to find his dad. And he's just like, "Son, I learned a valuable lesson from that Saudi Arabian man who I murdered. Family's the only way. Let's walk out of here." Like, what? This man is the president of the United States, and he told you that wishes are bad. Is he just gonna walk away with his son now?
The movie has issues. The movie has issues for sure. Narratively, it's definitely sloppy, especially with stuff like that. And I don't want to bring up Redacted here, but when he's going to be in Redacted as Joel,
Mm.
it's going to be tough to wash off some of the stink of this role for me, honestly. I really didn't like him in this movie. But all of that being said, I always go back to Gal Gadot. I'm a big Gal Gadot fan. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and she's charming enough to actually put this movie in okay territory for me and save it. I really like her as a character. Even the Chris Pine stuff I wasn't a huge fan of in this movie, and how they kind of cheaply brought him back. But she again just kind of saves the movie for me.
Okay. Let's jump around. We're gonna go first to Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot just feels like such a kind soul that I never want to say anything negative about her. She just feels like such a kind presence that whenever she's embodying Wonder Woman, I'm like, yes, this is exactly who Wonder Woman would be. Just the warmest person you would ever know. I'm okay with that. I don't feel like she's a good actress. I think she's getting by with, more than anything else, her charm. And I mean that in both personality and looks. She just feels like a very charming woman. She just feels like even if you're not going to be attracted to her, you're going to be attracted to her because she just feels like a kind person that you would be like, you're a nice person. I just want to hang around you.
No, those are really good points. And I agree with them all. I can't tell you that Look, is she doing an Oscar-worthy acting job as Wonder Woman? Hell no. Absolutely not. But she's so charming that she makes the movie enjoyable for me. And that's all I really care about.
The point where she's just like, I renounce my wish. It's just like, this is a really emotional moment, and I really feel like laughing here, but I won't because I care about your feelings.
Yeah, no.
Not Wonder Woman's feelings, Gal Gadot's feelings.
Absolutely.
Not only that, I will say that her and Chris Pine, the two of them still have charm. I hate how he got brought back. I hate the whole thing about him being the fish out of water because they made the same joke with her instead, and then they're just reusing it again for him. I mean, some of the jokes are funny because Chris Pine is talented like that, but it still, at the end of the day, feels like it doesn't justify bringing him back.
No, it was honestly, I would have even been fine with that kind of storyline, but it shouldn't have been Chris Pine. Like, that's not who was there, right? Like, I understand that's what she saw, but it wasn't really him. So, I don't know. It was definitely a cheap way to bring him back. I love Chris Pine. I think he's fantastic. I like the original Star Trek, the ones after we won't talk about, but the original Star Trek reboot I thought was pretty good. He's a charming actor too, but yeah, he didn't do as much for me in this movie. It's really carried by Gal Gadot for me, and without her, definitely wouldn't have enjoyed the movie as much. Again, I don't think it's a great movie at all. I think it's fine, and that's where I have it. They fucked up the villains completely. Like I said, that's the worst part about that movie by far. And I'm a bit of a comic book nerd, especially when it comes to the DC side of things. So that kind of shit makes me a little bit more angry than your average casual viewer. So.
I'm just thinking now that Wonder Woman is basically going to follow the Iron Man path, where the first movie is two great acts that you can build an entire universe off of, and then a complete CGI boss battle in the third act that you just really tune out. But you're like, whatever, the first two acts were fine. And now we have a sequel that is incredibly underwhelming, filled with so much stuff that you don't need. So now what we're due for a third movie directed by Shane Black, and where most people are going to hate it because they probably disrespected oh my god, I can't even finish the sentence. Whatever, the joke is already in your mind. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The Mandarin, we're not going to talk about what he did to the fucking Mandarin. We're going to leave that one alone.
Dude, I haven't watched Iron Man 3 since it came out in theaters. My wife was telling me the other day, she's like, yeah, when we were dating, that was one of the first movies we went to go watch in theaters. I was like, oh my god, I haven't watched it since 2013. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I've only seen it once.
I don't... Like, I've said this so many times. When I'm ready to sell out, I'm just going to talk about Marvel.
Oh, it's a great sellout topic.
I'm just gonna keep teasing it, and there's at least gonna be one person who's like, he's finally doing the MCU episode. Now is the moment I jump in.
WandaVision?
Excuse me, what?
Sorry, I don't know what that is. Okay,
Yeah,
moving
neither
on.
do I.
Um, so Justice League. Let's talk about Justice League. You haven't seen it yet, right?
The Snyder cut, right?
The Snyder Cut, yeah.
Okay, no. Look, if it doesn't have creepy CGI face, I don't want it.
Oh my god, I'm glad they fixed that face. But yeah, okay. So I'll just talk generally because you haven't seen it.
Go.
I really, really liked it though, and I really appreciated it. It takes everything that was bad about the original Justice League movie, puts it into context, makes it make sense, adds depth to it, adds character to it, and makes it really good. And the biggest point I'll pull away from it is the character of Cyborg. You've seen the original Justice League, right?
I can tell you. Okay, now I will. I do want to add stuff here. I did watch Justice League in theaters. I watched it with Movie Pass, and that's the only way I would have seen it. It was hilarious because I was explaining what the Snyder Cut was to my wife, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess we haven't watched Justice League, so we can watch that." And I told her, I was like, "No, we watched Justice League." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, we watched it in theaters." And she's like, "What? No way!" And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It's that forgettable that you don't
Yeah.
remember we watched it in theaters." And so I do know that Cyborg was literally just a character who popped in as like, yeah, I guess I'll help you guys. And then he has a scene with his dad or something, and then the movie just keeps going. I know that Ray Fisher was pissed off at Joss Whedon for, I think, being an asshole on set, but I also think now that from what I've heard is that apparently he's also pissed because he got cut the fuck down, didn't he? Like his
Yeah.
everything that he had on screen was actually good work, and Joss Whedon just went, "Can't do that. Sorry, we got to make the movie a bit more Whedon-y."
Yeah, it was what they did to that character was basically an assassination. Like it was night and day. Because even I, watching the original Justice League, which I didn't like that movie either. Let's be honest, it was awful. But I was like, Cyborg's terrible. Like there's nothing in there to make a good movie. Why? Like there was plans for him to have his own movie, which probably won't happen now. But it's like, why? Like there's nothing about this character. But then you watch the Snyder cut, and you're like, holy shit, he's not only one of the most important characters of the movie, he's one of the best. Like he's well written, he's very sympathetic. There's great character building moments in there with him, and all of it was chopped out, completely gone. So bit of redemption for him, and really nice to see.
Would it be incorrect to say that the bottom three of DC, in any order, we don't need to go specific, but it wouldn't be too hard to say that the bottom three are Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League, right?
100% correct.
Okay. Now, out of those three, if someone told me they like Suicide Squad, I would definitely start asking questions. If they told me that they like Suicide Squad, I would immediately start going from, well, like ironically, because this is Katana, her sword traps the souls of people. She's got my back. Like that's great to laugh at, right?
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Wow, we some sort of Suicide Squad. Oh my
Fuck that
god.
movie. Fuck that
We
movie.
gotta
But
cut her heart out. You see, like we're laughing at it. Like I can understand if someone's
yeah,
enjoying that ironically.
fair.
Batman v Superman, it seems like for some reason there are some people who are really into comics who are like, bro, it's the greatest cinematic film ever, Don't you remember that comic where Lex Luthor pissed in a jar and it was a plot point? Dude, read a fucking Batman book, why don't you? I don't know why I'm making this person
Yeah,
sound like New
I have
Yorker.
never heard a comic book fan sound like that. But I think I know where you're going with this, and you're right though. That if we're going to talk about that one fight scene in Batman versus Superman, it's fucking fantastic.
Oh, no, no, no. What I was actually going to lead to instead, but you aren't wrong. You aren't wrong. If I'm going to touch that, it's incredible that Zack Snyder had Batman for just only half a movie, and he gave us probably the best fight scene that Batman has had in almost an entire century of his existence. So,
Yeah,
bravo for that.
that's the only good thing about that movie.
Mhm. What I was going to actually lead to is that if someone said that they enjoyed Suicide Squad or if that they enjoyed Batman v Superman, I could find shades of like, okay, yeah, I understand. If someone said that they enjoyed the Joss Whedon Justice League, I at that point know that they have no bar of quality. Like,
Harsh, but it's very true.
no, if anyone is listening to this and you want to argue for the soul of the Joss Whedon Justice League movie, For the love of God, tell me what you see in there outside of just lesser Avengers. But no, not even lesser Avengers, because that still makes it sound like it's close. It's 2% Avengers, all right? Like I can't see anything redeeming in the original Justice League movie. And okay, you know what? Actually, the Superman scene, but I'm pretty sure that was pretty much all Zach.
Which scene? Which one?
In the original Justice League, when evil Superman shows up, I assume that might be almost a little bit differently paced in the Snyder cut, or just straight up verbatim the exact same thing, because that's the only positive thing I can think of.
It's actually a little bit different. There was a couple of cheesy lines that were added in reshoots to it, like in the original where he's like, "Do you bleed?" That's gone, thank God. But the actual that whole fight sequence is still the same, very similar actually.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that does reinforce the part that makes me think that anything that Joss Whedon touched basically was made worse.
Oh my God, like I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it's very interesting to watch this. One thing I will say though is, and I don't think this is a spoiler. I think everybody knows that the Joker's in this movie.
Mhm.
That Jared Leto's Joker's in the movie. He's
We
still
live in a
fucking,
society.
yeah, he's still fucking awful. This was the worst part of the movie. He's fucking terrible. Stop trying to make Jared Leto Joker happen. Stop. Enough. I'm done.
I'm I'm curious. Is there anyone in your head that if you were to hear this person has been casted as Joker, is there anyone that you have right off the top of your head that you're like, yeah, you know what, I can get behind that? Or do you think it's even better if it was just someone that you would go, huh, I wouldn't think
Oh,
about
that is
that. We'll see how that
tough
goes.
question. Um,
Okay,
no,
no,
no.
no, fair enough. That's the
Let
thing.
me
Okay, you know what? I
No,
will
let me
jump
give you
in
one.
to give you
Let me
space to
give you one.
think
I'm just
if you
trying to
need it.
think of his name.
Okay.
Give me a second, because I'm blanking. Have you ever seen The Pianist? The Pianist?
Oh, Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. That would be my pick.
Ooh, that would be an interesting one.
Yes. Now he's a little bit old now, so he would have to be an older Joker. But that I've always thought he had a similar body type to him. And before Heath Ledger got cast, and of course when Heath Ledger got cast, very smart Addy was like, "Wow, he's gonna be fucking terrible. What are you doing?"
I mean,
That's why I don't cast movies.
that's the thing. Everyone looked at that and went, "The Brokeback Mountain? You going to give us a gay Joker?
Yeah.
This man's gonna
No.
get mounted by a horse in the movie?" Christopher Nolan,
No.
he's done. Cancel it. Wait, no, that was 2007.
Yeah, we weren't canceling people. Yeah.
Fuck. What? How did people threaten each other in 2007?
Yeah, just with a gun to the head, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't through online cancellation.
We just shot people instead of canceling them on Twitter.
Exactly,
You know,
which is far more preferable. Far more preferable.
okay, you know what? You know what? Between being stuck on Twitter and probably being shot in the head, yeah, shoot me in the head, please.
Yes, but Adrian Brody would my pick. Little off the wall. I love him. I think he's a great actor. Pianist is actually a fantastic movie. But yeah, no, he's a great little actor. And yeah, that is probably who I would say. But for the love of God, it's not Jared Leto. Move on from Jared Leto.
It still makes me so sad that Jared Leto on paper would make a great Joker. Like everything that I've seen him in just makes sense.
I agree. I don't disagree. He's a phenomenal actor. I liked him in Requiem for a Dream. I think
Yes.
he's phenomenal. Requiem for a Dream.
Oh.
Requiem for a Dream. There's movies in life that I'll watch once,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I will say, "Hey, I never need to see that movie again." That's Requiem for me.
I never need to hear a whole bunch of businessmen chanting ass to ass. I don't think I ever need to see this in my life again.
I agree, but phenomenal movie though,
Oh,
and
it's
he's
great.
absolutely phenomenal in it.
Everyone, if you are on the verge of suicide and need that last push, watch Requiem for a Dream. If you are instead having a really good day and you don't feel like if you're having a good day and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, watch this movie and that's you forcing fate to drop the shoe for you. So that's the best glowing recommendation I can give Requiem for a Dream, because I'm never watching that again. Like I don't even want to show my wife for it. I don't want to show my wife that movie, because then I'm going to have her questioning who I am as a person.
Yeah, it's a very depressing fucking movie, so keep that in mind going into it. But Jared Leto is very good in that movie. and he's been very good in other things. He's on paper a good Joker. I don't know if it's just the gangster Joker that rubs me the wrong way, or if it's just the way he portrays it. Don't like it though.
I'm wondering if maybe he just doesn't have it, or maybe
I
he's
think
just
so.
being directed
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be either or. Though, no more. No more. And I would love to say that maybe he's just being directed wrong, but we've had David Ayer now, and we've had Zack Snyder now. I'm sorry, he was the worst part of the Snyder Cut.
But
So.
is Zack Snyder someone that can direct people? That's the thing. I always felt like he was much more of a visual director. So
yeah,
it's weird because when I think of Jared Leto, I think of Requiem for a Dream, I think of Dallas Buyers Club, I think of Fight Club, even his small little bit in that. Like, he is good, but then I'm still grappling with, but then he also has Suicide Squad and this. He has two different tries from two different directors. You would think that if you're an actor, you would still have some sort of self-awareness where you're not going to be bad in a movie because you're going to be trying your damnedest to make it work.
for sure. You're right. I think with Suicide Squad, a lot of it could be direction and that sort of thing. I was ready to give him a fresh start, but again, after Snyder Cut, I just don't think the guy has it. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe if Christopher Nolan came in there and directed him, he would have done a fantastic job as Joker. But this incarnation of him, I think it needs to go.
I don't want to. I you know I enjoy me some Nolan too. You know I do, but I don't feel like Nolan alone without Jonathan Nolan is really good about getting the human emotion out. I'm not trying to say he's a bad director. I'm just saying that he is way more of the technical person and just the craft of cinema itself than the actual human aspect. So I don't know if even he would be able to get what he needs out of Jared Leto.
I don't fully agree with that, but I could agree that Christopher Nolan maybe is not the best example. He's just the first thing that spouted to my mind. Put it to you this way: if you put him in a movie like Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, that movie would have crumbled.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't think he could have carried it.
I do not think that. Oh my God! Whoever directed that,
Todd Phillips.
Yes, thank you. Todd Phillips? I don't feel like he has it in him to do it. I do think that he relied a lot on Joaquin Phoenix to figure out what that Joker was.
If you read the original script for that movie and what came out, completely different. Like, there are so many changes that happen on the fly during that set because of suggestions from the actors. So you're actually not wrong.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. I like being not wrong. Jumping from there just because I am curious about it. I keep speaking because I lost my thought and I was headed somewhere. Holy shit. The wheels are starting to fall off. Nope, I lost it. Moving on.
All right, moving on. So I think that's a good stopping point for Justice League anyways. So good movie. Watch it if you're a fan.
Hold on. Okay. I realized what I was going to say about Justice League at least. In the previous special episode that I did, Whiplash, I had a friend who was going to try and convince me to watch the Snyder Cut. I told him if he showed up on my house that day or told me that he was going to come over, that we would sit down and watch it. However, he flaked, so I am very low chances of watching the Snyder Cut ever. However, hearing the overwhelming positive feedback from it makes me think that I'm willing to give it a shot. However, I also remember the ridiculous positive feedback to a lot of people that I know about the extended cut to Batman v Superman, and they were wrong about that. So, I am at an impasse. I will not know if I watch it until I, for some reason, sit down and watch it. I mean, it took me forever to even watch The Irishman, so,
That's totally fair. By the way, just so we're clear, the extended cut of Batman versus Superman sucks too.
That's the thing. That's why I trust your opinion, because you say that. While there are people who have been saying, wow, man, the extended cut fixes everything. And I'm like,
no. If anything, the extended cut's actually worse, but
I haven't heard that many people say that. Ooh, okay.
I really dislike that movie. So that movie, I might hate that movie more than Justice League, but I know that's a controversial opinion. So
I hate Justice League more because I can at least laugh at Batman v Superman. Yes. Justice League is just looking at the clock waiting for it to time out.
Martha!
Okay, never mind. Yeah, actually, no. That is exactly why. Hell yeah! Martha. Can you imagine if the Joker found that shit out and he'd go to Batman and be like, "Hey, did you know that my mother's name is Martha too?" And he's like, "You want to commit crime together?"
That's a good Batman accent. I like it.
Oh no, my Bane accent is better. But no, we're going to save that shit. We're gonna whenever we get to the
That's for
Dark
the
Knight
trilogy.
Oh, I
Yes,
will
that's
do
for
that
the trilogy.
entire spoiler cast just in Bane voice.
You know what? Here's the fun thing. I actually have a pretty good Bane voice too, so we can have a Bane off. We'll do a Bane off.
Oh yes, brother.
Oh my God. I'm gonna save mine. I'm not ready to do mine. I gotta warm up.
Okay, Justice League. That was pretty good, you know?
Yeah, good movie. Okay, so Mr. Robot's next. But before I get to Mr. Robot, I actually do need to mention one thing. I did watch a movie called Jujitsu, only because Nicolas Cage was on the cover. All I have to say is fuck that movie. Literally, that's it. I do not want to talk anything else about that movie. That was the biggest waste of an hour and 45 minutes of my life. Fuck it.
All right, you know what? I feel like okay. What I love doing is that whenever I don't like something, I still put timestamps. But I love it whenever something gets a timestamp and it lasts 10 seconds and then it moves on to the next topic. So this is lovely.
Fantastic. Okay, Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot, on the other hand, is fucking fantastic. Really good. I've been kind of back and forth on it a little bit. Peaks and valleys for me. Started off a little bit slow, but kind of when you get to the end of season one, absolutely fantastic. I know you're a big fan of Mr. Robot. You're actually the one who convinced me to watch it. So if you want to jump in, jump in.
I will tell you right now, just going back to watching Mr. Robot initially, because really I talked about Mr. Robot literally just almost the season finale. I started this right as me and my best friend finished watching it. So I haven't even talked about season 1 at all. Season 1, I remember specifically being a TV show that I just remember thinking, how the hell is this on USA of all places? How is
Yeah.
this? How do you have Burn Notice and then a Fast and the Furious rerun again and then Mr. Robot? I have no idea how any of this makes sense. I remember specifically watching the pilot. They released the pilot for free, I think, through a whole bunch of viral marketing where they just kept the show is very tech focused. So they would lean into that very hard, where you would see advertisements of F Society and it would be like, "Oh, we're watching you." And then it would just be a link to Mr. Robot. They made the first episode free for so long as a pilot. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of impressed that they marketed as well as they did, because that thing was everywhere. That first episode was free for a while before it actually got the green light and got the series order. So I remember specifically all of that. I remember watching it. Fuck it, spoilers. I remember getting to 3, 2, 1, the Fight Club twist. I mean, I felt like the show was always playing with it. And even though the twist does hit you, I'm still impressed by the fact that it's totally a twist that is in your face, but it's also hidden, but it doesn't also treat you stupid if you already knew that twist.
Yeah, no, you said that spot on. Like, I kind of had a feeling that that was the direction they were heading. They play with it enough and they make it interesting. And even though that's the direction they head, and by the way, I should mention I'm still not finished it, so I don't know how it fully ends. So I could say some stuff that I'm wrong about. But it's not really the twist you think it is, because he's just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
he's just seeing these people in his head, and it's a little bit different. So when he goes on his medication or he goes through the withdrawals of seeing him at later points, it's really cool. Really cool.
Now, there's one thing that I just want to drop for you that, don't worry, it enhances the experience. There is a scene at some point in season 1 that plays a super, super crucial part in the final season, and you would have no idea how important it is until you get to that very scene. I can't believe that it probably wasn't even fully planned out. It's probably something that they went back and went, "Oh shit, that's perfect, toss it in." But it's done so fucking well that you would think that every single script for this show was written all at once.
Okay, so I'm curious, and I don't want you to tell me.
Oh, I'm not
Okay,
going to. I'm not going to
I
tell
don't
you.
want. Yeah, don't tell me. But I'm curious. If you were to tell me what that scene was right now, would I be able to figure out anything,
No.
or would it just be like, oh, how is that important?
You would see that scene. Okay. So if you were to erase what I said about, giving you the
Right.
hint,
Right. So
if I were to just like, hey, here's a video clip of it,
what
you
did you
would,
think of this scene?
yeah, you would
Yeah.
watch it and you would go, yeah, I remember that scene. Okay. And you would just keep
That's
going.
interesting. All right, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, as far as I remember, the show was always planned to be 4 or 5 seasons, but ratings were dropping off hard, so they only got 4 seasons, but they were still given enough time to wrap up, which I oh man, I just finished watching it at the beginning of this year, and I'm already itching to rewatch it. But I need to get back to The Leftovers. Damn it! I've been so
Yes, you
busy that I've been putting off telling my best friend to come over and watch it. But damn it, I need to get these projects out of the way. Damn it.
I hear you. I hear you. But no, Mr. Robot's really good. And can I just say, Rami Malek, what a phenomenal actor. Like, and that's honestly one of my biggest complaints of season 2 is he's just not in it enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not. Like, and I don't mean that as a huge negative to the show, because I do like some of the side characters, although there are some I don't like. But Rami Malek is just such a presence. And after watching this, have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
I remember watching Bohemian Rhapsody in theaters, and I remember telling myself, if you just play Queen music in a Dolby Atmos mix, I will be happy. And they did barely that, and I went, cool, thank you, and walked
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
he is the only thing that mattered in that movie.
100%. Like, that's another Joker thing. If you had gotten anybody else in that role, that movie probably would have crumbled.
Absolutely. No, I mean, Rami Malek is just someone that, no joke, whenever I heard about No Time to Die, the next Bond film, being delayed, I really wasn't worried about not watching that movie. I was just like, man, I really could use more Rami Malek right now. Like, I need another fix.
I agree. Also, shout out to Joshua from Until Dawn.
Oh my
Humble
god.
beginnings. Humble beginnings for Rami Malek.
It's the funniest thing is that okay, I will check my trophies, but I think I had watched Mr. Robot prior to playing Until Dawn. I played Until Dawn with my wife. Like, we literally sat next to each other, and I was the monkey pressing the buttons, and she was the one that told me what to do.
Yeah.
So I remember specifically, we're just sitting right next to each other, and then Rami piles up and like, Mr. Robot, yeah! Like, we were high-fiving each other, like, yeah! My boy's getting a paycheck!
That's awesome.
That's the thing. If there's ever an actor that I really like, but they're in shitty movies, like, I'm ready to be like, you got paid! Yeah!
Christopher Eccleston in Thor the Dark World.
You got paid! Woo!
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So, Rami Malek, phenomenal actor. Mr. Robot in general, it's a really good show. I'm excited to keep watching it. So, yeah, I love it.
All right, now, characters. Now, you did mention that Rami's kind of the one holding it for you. Let's go through some of them. How do you feel about Mr. Robot himself?
I mean, he's definitely one of the strongest characters in the show for me. And I mean, how can you not love Christian Slater? Like, Christian Slater to me is such a good actor. I still remember, have you seen Alone in the Dark, the movie?
No.
Okay, I wish I hadn't. I don't know why I did. Christian Slater was in that. Yeah, get your paycheck. But
you get your paycheck.
God damn it, that movie was awful. But it's very nice to see him in something relevant because he kind of disappeared for a little while, if I remember correctly. So he's great in this. Absolutely phenomenal.
No joke. Christian Slater in this gives me those John Travolta in Pulp Fiction vibes where it's like, hey, where were you? And then they just come back. They're like, you had this in you this entire time?
Yeah, totally. He's very good in this role. Like, this role seems like it was specifically made for him almost. Like, it's just perfect.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was. Like, maybe they saw Heathers and were like, hey, man, we need a really fucked up person. We're probably going to grab this guy.
Totally.
Angela, I heard you not being too into her.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Angela. The problem is I think she's better in season 2.
Mhm.
She's definitely better. She's still not that strong of a side character for me. Like, I'd much rather see Darlene on my screen than Angela. But she's definitely been better in season 2. I just hope it's leading somewhere, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, now season one, is it because she's just like a very passive character that's just out of the plot, or what is it about her in season one that grates you wrong?
Yeah, it just seems like every time she shows up, she's just kind of doing her own shit and trying to fix something that she's fucked up with her stupid boyfriend,
Ugh.
honestly. And that whole storyline, I just have zero interest in. And whenever she's there, she's just basically there to annoy Elliot. Yeah, honestly, whenever her and Elliot interact, it's something annoying. And I just like get off the screen, get back to Elliot.
You're not wrong. She is the low point for season one, but for me, I'm okay with her because it reminds us that Elliot isn't F society. Like he isn't part of that. Like I always like Angela as the thing that reminds us, wait, no, Elliot isn't who he is. Like he is still the person who's working at All Safe. He's still an employee. He still likes Gideon. He's still that normal guy instead of being torn straight into F Society. Because besides that, I mean, you have what Gideon? Like, is Gideon really going to be that anchor point for Elliot to be normal? She serves a purpose, and while she is annoying, at least she does have that great moment in the season finale with the shoes.
Yes,
Like that,
that is a good point.
I understand her as a plot tool. I can understand not liking her, but being a plot tool the way she works allows me to forgive her.
For sure. And that's fair. I understand that.
Season 2, I will also agree. I actually really like the change in character. She's still the exact same person, but she is lying to herself so hard that she is no longer that person and doing everything she can to not be that person, and she continuously fails at it. And I like that because it feels like season 2, after what happens in the ninth episode of the first season, it feels like every character after that huge shift has no idea how to move forward, which kind of sucks because, you know, when you're not moving forward, season 2 itself is that too. It never feels like it moves forward.
Yeah,
So
that's the
it's,
unfortunate part of season two.
yeah, it sucks because it feels like it's totally intentional that the characters aren't moving forward, but then that also hurts the pacing of the story itself.
And there are plot reasons for it in season two, which I'm not going to spoil. I don't want to talk about it, but there are plot reasons for it. But I don't know. It just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I will say the ranking goes 4, 3, 1, 2.
That's what I've heard pretty consistently from most people.
Yeah, season 3 gets right back on track with the tone of season 1, except it feels way more mature and it feels way less season 1-y. Like, season 1 feels so much like, well, here we go again. You know, here I bring it up again. It feels so much like we live in a society show, but like it done at such a high level that you're okay with it.
For sure. For sure.
But season 3 feels like, okay, we're gonna be a lot cooler about saying we live in a society without just saying it blatantly.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch more of it for sure.
And then season 4 just realizes, fuck it, it's the end. Have fun.
Everything I've heard about season four is just that it's basically a flawless season of television.
Now, how do you feel about the gimmick episode of season 2?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Are we going into spoilers still?
That's the thing. I feel like this one is, even if someone were to listen to this, I don't feel like it's being ruined. I'll put a timestamp just in case. But,
Okay,
you know,
and we're talking about the sitcom, right?
yes.
Okay, yeah. I was pretty mind fucked, honestly. I thought it was really cool. I kind of figured out what was happening because I don't think they were too coy about it. Like they were kind of showing you that he's basically just making this world up to protect himself. So yeah, it was interesting. I laughed. I thought it was funny. Anytime a show can pull off like a swerve, like a change of pace, like a change of direction, I think that's pretty cool. And the show desperately needed it at that point. Like it was just
Yes.
kind of going into a lull for me at that point, and I think we were talking about it that day.
Mm.
And once it finally that happens, you're like, oh, what's going on? You kind of wake back up, and the rest of the episode's pretty solid too. So
Mm. I am curious because there's at least one thing I want to touch on, but I don't know if you've gotten that far. If you can pull up what episode you're on, I can look up where you are, or if you can figure out how to say it in vague terms what's the last thing you saw, I want to be able to figure out where you are because I don't want to accidentally spoil something.
Uh, give me a second here. Oh, you know what? I actually think that might have been it.
Oh, that was the last episode you watched.
Because I haven't
Okay.
watched any in a couple days, so hold on here.
Okay, so you are
No,
half.
no, I think that is it. I think that
Okay,
is it.
you are
Yeah.
halfway through season 2. So now I'm gonna control F and find Dominique. Did Dominique already go to China?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. How fucking about that ending in China?
Yes. That. So it's funny. That episode, again, it's kind of like, oh, we're kind of being a lull here, or we're kind of being quiet here, and then boom, that happens, and you're like, holy fucking shit. I actually really like her character so far. And I don't know anything about her character. I don't really know where she's going, but I just like that actress. I think they're doing a phenomenal job, and I'm really interested to see where they go with her.
Prefacing everything that I say, at least even when I talked about this earlier, I always try to talk about the mental state that I was at that period. I will say, watching Dominique at the beginning of season 2, I was just kind of confused about her. I was like, okay, why is she exactly chasing them down? Like, I get it, she's the FBI, like, I get it, but is she just kind of a necessary thing to make it seem, like we're in reality? Because obviously, after what happens in season 1, you're like, okay, yeah, the FBI is probably going to get involved. Like, I get
For
it.
sure.
But you're not wrong in that she just has something to her character that feels like you just want to keep watching her. I mean, I love that she is basically Elliot without a sibling or friends or anything. She's just completely this lonely person who only has Alexa to talk to her. Like, that is just so mind-numbingly depressing. She can't sleep or anything, that she feels like so much more of a threat as herself than her being backed by the FBI. And that's so impressive to me.
No, absolutely. Like those scenes with her and the shopkeeper
Mm.
are just like, I think those are a good example of them, because it's just, I don't know if that, again, I don't know if that ends up leading anywhere or goes anywhere further, but just the little exchanges between the two of them, you could tell it's just, she's just trying to have a friendly conversation because she has nobody else.
Yeah. It
Like
just
there's
comes
nobody
off.
else in her life.
Oh, I mean, she's talking to just a fucking Alexa. I don't know how it gets sadder than that. Not only that, I mean, even those scenes there, I love the small little world building that they have there. Like, I love that she just keeps coming to this shop, and you can tell that New York is getting slowly more and more decrepit. Um, this is a minor thing if I accidentally spoil it, but have you already seen people paying e-coin to burn trash?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, no worries. That's such a minor thing. That's just like a little world thing. It's things like that. I'm not going to throw anyone out anymore out just in case, but there's just a whole bunch of things in this world that you can tell the after effects of season 1 has really fucked things up.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I could definitely tell there's a lot more world building to go on, and I'm excited to watch more for sure. I think there's a lot of potential in the show, and from what I've heard from season 3 and 4, it's only going to get better. So
Yeah, I my 3 favorite shows all end with a perfect season: The Leftovers, Mr. Robot, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, there's not a single frame that I would change for them, because I feel like the pacing and everything that they are saying is just so on point that I wouldn't change a damn thing.
have you seen? I'm sure I've asked you this before, but have you watched Watchmen?
Uh, I. Oh, hold on. Why am I thinking so hard? Movie or TV show?
The TV show.
Yes, I have.
Okay, I have to ask your thoughts about that after. I won't get into it now, but
Mm,
it's funny we haven't talked about that. So, Mr. Robot, very good.
carry on.
So that's it for movies for me. So I don't know. Before I get into games, you watch Doctor No, right?
Yes, I watched Doctor No, and I failed my New Year's resolution so far. That means that this month I have to watch 4 Bond movies again when I told myself to watch 4 Bond movies last month. Uh, yeah, I am rolling behind, but the good thing is that I still have a wife that is okay with us running through 4 of them if we need to. The last one that I watched was Goldfinger, And holy shit, Goldfinger is everything that Golden Age Bond should be. Like, it is so zany, it is so ridiculous, it is everything that Austin Powers makes fun of, to the point that the producers were like, hey, we can't really do this shit again. We got nailed too hard already by fucking Mike Myers. So, Goldfinger was everything I wanted it to be when I think of Bond. Dr. No being the first movie that they made for Bond very much feels like it is the first movie. Like, it feels like they are still trying to figure out what this is going to be. I mean, Sean Connery still has the same charm, but it's a movie that feels like it takes itself seriously, but it's also from the 1960s, so it's not exactly like it's able to portray itself super seriously. I mean, even when I think about this movie, I can't really remember anything other than Bond himself, just being super charming as always. Just a whole bunch of sitting down and talking. A couple of more things that remind me so much of Austin Powers. And then a fucking way unnecessarily hilarious death scene. Like, it was so unintentional. But basically, Bond is on an island. Apparently, some black dude is very superstitious about a dragon on the island, which it's the 1960s. They're going to stereotype this black dude into believing in a superstition. Whatever. I'll let it go. It was almost half a century ago. It's fucking hilarious because this man is trying to fight this gigantic car that's spitting fire, and in quick succession this car lights him up on fire like in a half a second and dies immediately. And it was so abrupt and so completely out of left field for the entire tone of the movie that I couldn't help but laugh at that man just being set on fire. And the funny thing is that Bond and the Bond girl, whose name is Honey Rider, which lets you know, if the name is Honey Rider, they weren't exactly at their top of the game. She's not no Pussy Galore, okay? Pussy Galore is such a perfect name, alright? She was in Goldfinger. Pussy Galore is a phenomenal name. Honey Rider feels like it should have been the cutting room name, And it's hilarious because this man just got lit the fuck up, and Bond and Honey Rider just get stuck up. Like, they just like, hey, put your hands up. Like, this moon just got blasted to flames, and you're gonna hold up these guys. And it's so fucking ridiculous that this man got blasted into a fucking flame, and the two of them are being treated to dinner and talked to for like the next 30 minutes of the movie.
That's fantastic. I love it.
It's definitely lower tier Bond. So far I've watched in my ridiculous order. I've watched Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Goldfinger, and Doctor No. Even with all the problems that Quantum of Solace had, I feel like I still enjoyed that as an attempt more than Doctor No not really knowing what it is yet.
That's an interesting take. That is definitely an interesting take. Now, it's been forever since I've seen Doctor No.
Mhm.
So I really would feel like I need to rewatch it to have a comment on it. I have seen all the Bond movies,
Mhm.
but it's been a long ass time. I can remember telling you, I didn't think Doctor No was bad, but I thought it was okay. Definitely dated at the time,
Mhm.
but I fucking hate Quantum of Solace. So I do not have a lot of positive things to say about that movie.
Like I said, like, I feel like Quantum of Solace was just hurt so badly by the writer's strike that I
True.
feel like if that writer's strike didn't happen, I feel like Quantum of Solace would have been the one to break the Bond sequel not being as good. Like, at least for Daniel Craig. Like, I feel like the concept behind a very hurt, immature Bond trying to hunt down the people who killed the first woman that he ever loved. Like, I feel like that on paper is just such a good idea. And the fact that he is just such a rabid dog about it the entire movie. That on paper feels so good. It's just that the execution is just so inept that I get why no one would like it. I give it the softest defense. Like, if someone were to want to defend movies, I will defend Whiplash with an entire fucking army if I need to, right? Quantum of Solace at the most gets a please don't hurt me on a sheet of paper of a defense. So like
That's fair.
I will never stop anyone from saying Quantum of Solace is bad. I'm just saying what could have been.
I do agree with that. I think the potential of the movie that could have been is a lot better than the movie itself.
Yeah, I mean, and Doctor No, of course, like it's so hard to argue potential because literally Doctor No's potential led to literally everything else. So
Yeah.
we can't even compare it to that point, but I feel like even when watching a Quantum of Solace, I'm very good about visualizing what could have been instead of visualizing what comes after for Doctor No. So I would still put Quantum of Solace above it, but it's literally in my mind. There's no absolute realistic barometric that you could put these two movies in between and go, yeah, you know what, Quantum of Solace is better, except maybe, I don't know, man, this Aston Martin in 2008 looks nicer than 1960s, but even that sounds stupid because the 1960s one is, you know what, I just talked myself out of it. No, there's nothing that you can say is better in Quantum of Solace.
It's very tough, I find. Like, I like to rank things, I like to rate things.
Mhm.
I would have a really hard time doing a Bond tier list just because the old ones are such a product of their time. So it's very tough for me to say, oh, Casino Royale is better than Doctor No. I mean, it is, but it's very tough for me to say that because, again, it's a product of the time and it's an older movie.
No, you're not wrong. I know for sure that I would probably, excluding Casino Royale and excluding Skyfall, I would probably put Goldfinger above the other Bond movies.
Goldfinger is fantastic. I'm a big fan of Goldfinger too.
Yeah, Goldfinger is just such a joy to watch. Like, that movie feels like we know what Bond is. This is going to be a fun dude, hot girls, gadgets. It's going to be traveling around the world, punching the bad guy, and then just having fun. Like, it
It's fun.
feels so good that it knows what it is, and I can't wait for it all to go shit with the next movies.
Yeah, it's fun.
So yeah, that is Doctor No. Where do you want to go from here? You Oh wait, no, hold on. You said that you already got movies and TV out of the way, right?
Yeah, so we're just at games now.
Okay, perfect. Fuck you for Days Gone.
Well, so let's talk about Days Gone.
Yeah, I still have to talk about Days Gone. Jesus, why do people like Days Gone? The more time I spent with it, the less I cared. Why does it open like that? Okay, Days Gone heard the someone at at Sony Bend, right, was told, "Hey man, if you go to prison, try to knock out the first dude you see." And you know who the biggest dude they saw was? The Last of Us, okay? And they, with Days Gone, opened the game and were like, all right, we're just gonna be in the middle of the entire city falling, and then there's gonna be literally 3 cuts to black in the opening cutscene, like if it was a fucking PS2 game. And then we're going to show this emotional moment of a man saying bye to his wife. Like, I'm married and I don't give a shit about that man's wife. Like, that felt like such an aping of the opening to The Last of Us that I was like, you literally just watched a scene. Like, you watched clips. No, you watched a trailer of clips of the opening to The Last of Us and said, yeah, we're gonna do that. And they just completely didn't understand what the context was or pacing. That, from the very opening, if you're trying to take a shot at that and you miss that spectacularly, like, there's almost no recovery.
I do think we should provide a little bit of context, though. Edwin, why were you playing Days Gone?
Out of spite.
Yeah, so
Okay,
so in
more
case you're all
context, more
wondering
context.
why he's rambling, basically, I made it a point to say that I think you should experience at least 5 hours of a game for a longer game to be able to form a mature opinion on it. Now, Ed, you have a very strict 2 hour rule.
Okay, for me now, I don't want to call it strict because I am rather loose with the parameters of the 2 hours. If I play something for 2 hours and there's even a small inkling of something that will string me along, I'm okay with it. We're going to go very extreme example here, all right? Automata. I don't think that the first hour is spectacular because I remember playing the demo for that and just thinking, this is weird, and then not ever thinking about it again. And even when I had a copy in my hand, I remember playing the opening and still thinking, like, okay, this is fine. And even continuously playing. It was only when I realized that the music was pretty good, I was like, okay, I guess I'll keep playing. Like, that's the thing. Even something as minuscule as the music being good will pull me through. And there's nothing about Days Gone outside of being a brochure for Oregon that pulled me through.
Well, at least you want to go to Oregon now.
Oh, I want to go to Oregon. Oh, it's beautiful. I want to go to Oregon.
I've actually been to Oregon.
Leave. Oh,
yeah,
how is
it? It is beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. It's been a long time. I was a lot younger when I went there, but I have a lot of good memories. It's very gorgeous.
I swear, the one time that I feel like you dropped pictures of whenever you were hiking in Canada, I swear that it looked like screenshots from Red Dead. Like, it looked like straight up untouched by man, like just nature. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that was a very nice hike.
Now, Days Gone, like, that is literally it. Like, it just convinced me Oregon is very nice, and that if I ever want to send hate mail, I'll do it by hand instead of mailing it whenever I go to Oregon.
Yeah, I would love to be the Days Gone defense squad, but to be truthful, I've literally only played 2 hours of it. I will say, those 2 hours I played, I was hooked. I like the story. I think visually it's a gorgeous game, but I still have 40 hours to go in that game. It's on the top of my backlog. I'll get to it eventually.
I am curious, at least for those 2 hours. The Last of Us is, I think, my 4th favorite game. It is your definitive favorite game. Am I crazy for drawing that comparison? Because I just felt like that opening felt so much aping for the opening of The Last of Us that if you make me compare those two, there is barely anything that's going to come above that.
So here's the best comparison I can give you. You're a Coke guy, right? You like your Coke.
Oh, look, no joke. You remember those crinkle cut fries that I showed you? They had a freestyle machine there, and both me and my wife were just really disappointed.
Right, you don't like the freestyle machine. Okay, so you're very specific about your Coke, right?
Very.
Here's the thing with me: if I go into Walmart, you know how they have the off-brand Coke?
No, I don't. Oh, please don't tell me. I know where you're going. Please just
I
continue.
could buy the off-brand Coke and enjoy it. Okay, I just can, and that's how I feel about Days Gone: The Last of Us. I'm drinking I'm playing the off-brand version of The Last of Us. That's probably what this is going to be, but it's still enjoyable.
No, not RC Cola. No. What's in the fucking box?
Now that being said, I prefer Coke. I prefer regular Coke.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But if there's no other option presented to me, I don't have a Last of Us 3 in front of me. I'm gonna drink the off-brand shit.
I'm saddy you have other games to play.
But again, to be fair, this is 2 hours of the game. I need to see the rest of it. So
okay, I mean, still, like, no joke, I don't think I like bikers either. Like, yeah. I do not like that kind of biker. I enjoy more of like the actual the crotch rockets. I don't enjoy the
big hogs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't exactly like the big hogs. Like, I'm more about like the small and speedy instead of leaning back. So if there was any type of bike that would get me, it would get those. So these guys just feel like meth traffickers. Like, if you it doesn't also help that they call the zombies freakers, because it's like freakers is so close to tweakers, okay? And I hate it. Like, it makes me think that the bikers were the reason that freakers existed. Like, oh man, they were tweaking too much, they turned into freakers. Like,
have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy?
I tried it for a season, but I don't feel like I was mature enough in my taste to appreciate it.
Okay.
So I might get to it eventually. I know it's good stuff. At the end of the day, I just really need to watch more FX shows.
Yeah, FX shows are bangers in general. Sons of Anarchy, I actually don't know if you would really end up liking it, so I wouldn't like throw a full recommendation behind it to you. I would give it another shot, though. That being said, I really like Sons of Anarchy. The opening 2 hours or so of Days Gone honestly felt a little bit like Sons of Anarchy, the game, to me. And just being able to kind of play out that lifestyle, it kind of brought me a little bit of nostalgia to that too. So that's another reason why I was kind of digging it so far. Whether that holds up over the next 40 hours, who the fuck knows?
Also, the other thing is that it felt okay. So I streamed it for a little bit.
Oh, you streamed
it, and you could tell that the shooting was really off. When? Oh no, I meant like my shooting.
Oh, your shooting. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, my shooting was off. But here's the thing that I don't know if it became obvious. You know how obviously in The Last of Us you had basically very bobbing shooting, right?
Right.
Days Gone had the exact same thing, and I was not ready for that.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure if you upgrade it, because every fucking game needs upgrade shit, like, I'm pretty sure you have to upgrade so it doesn't bob. So I literally had to do the same thing I used to do in The Last of Us, which is basically move my reticle in a certain direction so it would lead my shot to where I need it to be. So that is, it feels weird because it is an Ubisoft game. Like, just straight up, it's an Ubisoft game. It is a Far Cry. It is a Ghost Recon. Like, it is all of that. And those games don't really try to make it difficult for you to fight. And I would say that that kind of aiming is difficult to fight with. So I felt weird, like this was completely counterintuitive to what the game should feel like.
Yeah, when I tried it, it was a while ago, so I honestly don't remember much of the combat or anything like that. I really didn't get too deep into the game, but I will say that's a fair point. Now, you say it's a Ubisoft game as an insult.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
I don't mind Ubisoft games.
Oh, I know you don't.
I don't, so I wouldn't consider that an insult personally. I could definitely see it being an Ubisoft game, and I say that not trying to insult the game. So.
No, I know. That's the thing. You say it as a statement, I say it as a pejorative.
But to be fair, you also call Ghost of Tsushima an Ubisoft game, and you love Ghost of Tsushima,
Yes.
so.
Yes, but that's the thing. The reason why I am more down on Horizon is because Ghost came out.
That's fair.
Horizon used to be the game where I'm like, oh shit, the Ubisoft formula can work. But it wasn't until Ghost of Tsushima that I thought about my time with Horizon. And I remember that Horizon, I didn't give a shit about the present storyline. Like, I just, for some reason, could not care. I don't know if it's that's indicative of the quality itself, but I think it's more the fact that the past storyline is so fucking good that I just wanted to mainline everything and not do anything else.
That's fair.
And I remember that for Ghost of Tsushima, the main story and all the side characters were almost neck and neck in quality that I wanted to do all of it.
No, that's a really fair point. I like Horizon a lot. I think it's a banger. Ghost of Tsushima is better. Ghost of Tsushima is an absolutely phenomenal game. Which, by the way, I was not expecting because I'm not a huge Infamous fan. I'm not that big into Sucker Punch, but that game was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that with the PSN hack, and they gave us Infamous 1 for free. I remember like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll play with it. And I remember that the stickiness that Cole had to metal pipes, I was like, I don't like the magnetism that they put on here. But for some reason, it is the exact same thing that they throw in Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Tsushima makes it work.
I completely agree. I don't know why it works. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's the tone and the setting for me, but I like that game a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. What the hell were we talking about? Days Gone?
Days Gone.
Yeah. Days Gone. Fucking hate it. I'm never going back. It is a curse that anyone who buys a PS5 has it for free. Now, Addy, you know what? I will say this because he's here. Addy disagrees. Okay, take my opinions with a grain of salt, as you should. Take a grain of salt with every single opinion you hear. Okay.
Fair. And again, to be completely transparent, I've only played 2 hours. If I hate the game, I'll come back on and agree with him at that point. So
I played for 5 hours, and I wish I could have spent those 5 hours replaying Journey or something.
It's fair. Journey's a pretty good game.
All right, now that's my list. You're driving here.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go. The first thing I got on here is basically a little Mortal Kombat combined section. I finished the campaign of Mortal Kombat X, and then I started to play Mortal Kombat 11, although I haven't touched that much of Mortal Kombat 11 yet, so I don't have too many thoughts on it. I just played a few matches. Fighting games are a weird thing for me. I'm not a big multiplayer gamer fan, as Edwin knows. I don't really like multiplayer games, but fighting games, especially when you get really good single player content out of them, I can really get into fighting games. I know you're an Injustice fan. We played some Injustice.
I don't think so. That's the thing. For me, okay, the reason that I even got into Injustice is, I'm going to say this very meanly to myself. The reason I got into Injustice is because I was chasing that high from high school when I was really fucking good at Mortal Kombat 9. Like, I'm going to be absolutely mean to myself on that one. Like, I played Mortal Kombat 9 so much in my high school. Like, not during high school, inside my high school, that I remember specifically my friend and he would bring the PS3, I'd bring the game and the controllers. During lunch, people would cycle into the room and play the PS3 while we weren't there. And I remember specifically every single time that I fucking would walk into the room, it felt like I was Moses and the ocean was parting, except the ocean were them. Like they saw me go into the room and they're like, "Oh shit, is he about to grab the controller? Oh fuck, this man is not going to let go of the sticks until lunch is over, is he?"
You were
But
that good, huh?
keep in mind, it's a high school, so it's not like I was
Right.
pro league or anything.
Yeah, you're not in the pros, but
Yeah, but I played such a nasty Kung Lao that literally the only person in high school that could beat me was a guy who actually studied martial arts, and he was telling us that apparently the animations in Mortal Kombat 9 were so good that if we were going to attack him, that the animations from the enemy would be able to tell him what needs to be done, and he would usually be able to demolish us because of that.
oh, that's
Like
fascinating.
I still can't believe that. I still feel like it's bullshit, but like I know that he absolutely was into martial arts, that I have no reason to doubt him outside of the fact that it sounds ridiculous.
That's a cool enough story that I'm going to believe it too, honestly.
Mhm. But like he would demolish us often enough that I felt like I needed to believe something. So Mortal Kombat 9 was basically a heavy thing for me. Injustice came out, and it was probably around the tail end of my senior year in high school that Injustice got into the rotation. So I told myself, well, I'm at the top of one thing, might as well segue over to the other thing. And I put in enough time to be competitive, but not dominant. So Injustice for me is one of those things that, had it not been the circumstances, I don't think I would have gotten as deep into it as I did.
That's a fair point. So, fighting games in general, a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat 11, played a few matches, good stuff. It's funny though, being an OLED owner, the first impression of the game was the static yellow HUD all over the fucking place. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Now, thankfully, the CX has a lot of burn-in protection against it, and it's a
Yeah.
lot better for that sort of thing. But I still like the baby my TV. So, but I saw
Oh,
that, I'm like, could you not have done yellow? Any other color but yellow?
it's funny. I went to go and I really hope my parents don't listen to this because I hope they don't feel too bad. I tried to look for an OLED and I drove like I think about an hour to go try and pick one up. But as soon as I got there, like the yellow was just completely gone on this man's TV. Like I was so sad. I was like, I can make this work through the settings, and it just didn't work.
Mhm.
I tried to get my parents this OLED TV, and that man. The funny thing is, he's like, yeah, no, the TV is just a little dark. I'm like, dude, it's not dark. Yellow just doesn't exist on this thing. But I didn't want to tell him that.
What model was it again?
I think it was a B7.
A B7, okay.
It's relatively new, but to have it that burnt out, I was like, man, I don't understand how these people will spend that amount of cash and not do research into what they're buying.
Yeah, like I've been using my OLED pretty normal, and I've been playing games. I'm playing. We'll get into Persona 4 Golden at the end here, but I've been playing
Mhm,
a lot of that, and there's a lot of static images and hubs on that. And I'm going to play that game for 70 hours, but that's not
mhm.
going to hurt my TV because I'm not pausing. I'm not leaving it
Yeah.
alone for 2 hours and then coming back and resuming. You just got to cycle through your content, but a lot of people don't
Yeah.
know what they're doing with their things.
I mean, it's so funny. So I'm recording in the office now. It's a theater room. Like that TV behind me, I still don't think I've cracked too much over 100 hours, which is ridiculous. But it, I don't want to use this TV more than I have to.
Uh,
Like this is the
Replicate's coming.
theater
Don't
room.
worry.
Oh, ooh, that's not gonna test out the TV. That's gonna test out the sound system. Ooh, you don't think I want to hear Laura Bailey yelling at me over a 7.1? Oh, I'm so excited.
No, but
Ooh.
I just mean you'll get your hours on the TV up at least.
Oh, I will. Oh, I will. I am committed to beating it as quickly as I can and then immediately playing again slowly and trying to get the platinum. Like not even losing my mind, just playing it as slowly as I need to.
That's true dedication right there.
And after that, then Danganronpa.
Yes. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Hopefully. Hopefully you
Oh,
like it.
oh, look. Hopefully, I like it enough to bring our good boy Straw Hat back.
Yes, I would love to have a conversation about Danganronpa. A lot to say about that game.
All
But
right, so that was
anyways,
Days Gone.
yeah. Moving on.
No, sorry, that was Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. So that's all I got to say about Mortal Kombat. I like fighting games. I'll play more eventually. It's kind of an in-between game for me, so I'll get back to it. Next up is Overwatch. So Overwatch is my gateway drug. I don't play multiplayer games, which, by the way, funny two fucking things. My first two things I talk about are multiplayer games. I really don't play multiplayer games, but Overwatch is absolutely my weakness. Everybody has Kryptonite. You've got Siege. I've got Overwatch. Go ahead.
I do want to say this. I have been playing Siege on and off for about 2017. No, probably late 2016, I think. I have been playing Siege on and off from 2016 to now. There was almost an entire year that was just dedicated to Siege, and those skills are still with me. I have been playing it on and off, but I don't bring it up on the podcast just because, like, what am I going to say? So, Eddie, this isn't to you. This is to everyone else. I'm not directing this to you.
Oh yeah.
Like, what am I going to say about Siege? Like, I'm just going to say game fun. I like it. Communication, it fun. Like, that's pretty much all I'm going to say. If you're out there and you like very tactical, very hardcore first-person shooters where you must communicate with people, buy it. Contact me. I will play with you. I swear. So, yeah.
He's not joking, but do not go into ranked with him.
Oh, okay, let's not go into ranked. My blood pressure cannot handle that. All right, I've hung up my cape for ranked unless it is a team of 3 or 4 people at a bare minimum rolling in and taking shit seriously. If it is 2 people, it may as well be 1 person because you're about to get one dumbass that doesn't even know how to play.
For sure.
Okay, go back to Overwatch.
Honestly, you kind of echo my thoughts. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's fun. Play it. Like, honestly, like, oh, look, it's a multiplayer game. It's a team-based game. You know what you're getting into with that shit. You either like it or you don't. I like it. If you want to play, don't contact me because I'm going to tell you to fuck off. But play the game. You'll like it. If you like that sort of thing.
If anyone's ever tried to sell drugs at an AA meeting, that's exactly what it's like if you're going to try and get Addy for Overwatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, man, you want some drugs? Like, fuck off, I already quit.
Exactly. So, honestly, don't have much more to say. Shout out to the boys. Love playing with you guys. If any of you are listening, there'll be more.
Look, straight up, as a collective idea, shout out to the boys, all right? No one specific. Just if you hear the boys, you've already thought of who you're thinking of.
Exactly.
Shout out to them.
That's true. You shout out to your boys. I shout out to my boys. Just shout out to the boys.
Shout out to the boys in general.
Perfect.
Playing with the boys.
Now, I do have a bit more to say about this next game, and that's Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, okay. Now, we're going to swap seats on this one because you play 2 hours of Days Gone. I'm pretty sure I play 2 hours of Sunset Overdrive. Take it away.
Yeah. So Sunset Overdrive, not for me, to put it lightly. I did not really enjoy this game. Look, I understand why somebody would like this game. It's fun. It's got a lot of really fluid movement to it. The traversal in the game is actually really unique, and I could see the groundwork for Spider-Man in this game. Like,
Yep.
it was there. Like, they were building something really cool with this game. Unfortunately, it does not come together in this game for me.
Now, I'm curious. I know you're very story over gameplay. Was that the silver bullet, or what was it that was off-putting to you?
Everything, honestly. I didn't like the art style. I found was hideous. Like, it was
Yeah.
ugly to look at. Like, and I understand it's an older game, but it was hideous to look at. The actual story was just throwaway, which, again, I get it. That's not what they're going for. But if you're going to have a throwaway story, at least give me some characters I care about. I didn't care about a single character in that game. None of them were funny. The writing was clever at points, but it just felt like it was trying a little bit too hard. There's a lot there. There was potential there, but I think they just said, hey, let's fucking make Spider-Man. And it was a way better Sunset Overdrive than it ever could have been.
I'm curious. Did you follow the game when it was revealed at all, or no?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I remember specifically during that time, it was still the TV, Call of Duty, Sports part of the Xbox One reveal.
Right.
Oh, holy shit, that was a golden time. You don't understand watching that shit. It was watching a supernova self-implode on itself. I couldn't believe watching that shit live. Anyways, Sunset Overdrive, I feel like we were getting out of the PS3 360 generation, so Sunset Overdrive looks so much like a breath of fresh air because everything was just so brown and gritty and rah that watching Sunset Overdrive, I could see why now that art style probably just aged probably slightly better than Milk. Like seeing that when it was revealed felt like such a breath of fresh air because it felt like, yeah, you know what, we can remember that games are fun again. Now, that is just my perception of when it was just an Xbox One exclusive. Don Matrick was still running the ship straight into an iceberg, you know? So, of course, that is different from now 7 years later.
Shout
When
out to
I
Don
had
Matrick, wherever you are, if you're listening to this podcast.
Don Matrick, if for some reason you're listening to this, you have given me so much entertainment that I have to say thank you. Holy shit. I never thought that, yeah, if you want a PS3, you should get a second job was ever going to get topped. And you come over here and say, yeah, if you want an offline console, get a fucking 360. Like, oh my god, legend. Legend.
Top 10 moment in gaming history.
So, breath of fresh air seeing Sunset Overdrive when I had gotten an Xbox One S in 2016 or 2017. I remember thinking, that was the one game that I was interested on Xbox, right? I remember jumping in and I just remember thinking, man, how is this 3 years old, but it feels like 2014 was already 40 years ago that this feels so dated.
It
The
feels dated.
opening when it has like that DJ doing his set, like it just I don't even remember if there's dubstep, but when I think about it, I hear dubstep. Am I going crazy? Was there dubstep in that
I
opening?
think it was dubstep. I'm gonna be honest, man.
Oh
The
my
dubstep,
god.
the techno, all that shit just blends together for me. Yeah, I hate it. And it definitely didn't sound good.
I can tell you right now, hearing it, I was just like, there's no reason that this should feel this old for something this recent. And I remember playing it and I just kept thinking, this feels too self aware. Like, Ratchet and Clank is what Insomniac's writing should be. It feels like it knows it's a child's friendly product, but it doesn't feel like it's dumbing it down for any adults who might be playing. While Sunset Overdrive completely goes in the other direction, it's like, yeah, we're rated M, we're 17-year-olds, yeah, but it doesn't realize that the M stands for mature and not just 17. So it just kept bothering me and grating me. It felt like there are talented writers that are writing this, but it doesn't feel like they are restrained enough to make it better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's so understated how much restraint can actually make something better. If you know the lines that you have to work within, sometimes what you're working on is going to be better than if you had no limitations.
For sure. And I don't know, like Insomniac's obviously a very talented studio. They've made
Absolutely.
banger after banger after banger. Like they make
Yep.
good games, great games even. But this one was just a miss for me, and I really wanted to like it more because I'm so tired. And I know you're not a big Xbox guy, and that's fine. But I'm so tired of the Xbox has no games meme. Like it's stupid, it's childish. There's lots of very good games on Xbox for everyone. That one, unfortunately, not one of them.
Wait, it's a meme?
It's a meme, shockingly. There are games on Xbox.
Oh no, I was saying that sarcastically.
Oh, okay. Fair. But yeah, no, this one's a miss for me, and I really wish I did like it more. That being said, like I said, the traversal is a lot of fun. Like the
Yes.
actual movement of the game is super fun. There are parts of the gameplay that are fun. It's witty. There are instances of a really good game there. And for a second, like when I finished it, I'm like, man, maybe a Sunset Overdrive 2 could be a good idea. But I'm like, no, just do another fucking Spider-Man.
The
Seriously.
thing is, we do have a Sunset Overdrive 2. It's called Spider-Man.
Absolutely. Like they took everything they were doing with that game and made it better. So
They took all the mechanics exactly. Like, you're not wrong. Like, the wall running that you had in Sunset Overdrive is basically just a reskin of Spider-Man.
Yeah, which is awesome, one of the best mechanics of the game. Actually, one of my favorite parts
Mhm.
of Sunset Overdrive is when you have to climb the towers. There's parts where you have to like climb these giant towers, and you actually have to fight bosses while you're grinding around the towers. That's fantastic. More of that, but it only happens like once or twice in the entire game. But instead, you get 5 fucking tower defense mechanic areas. Which, let me
Ugh.
tell you, if there's one game mechanic I maybe hate more than weapon degradation, it's tower defense. Please keep that shit out of my games.
You're just reminding me of Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Never played
Like,
it. Is there tower defense in that shit too? Yeah.
yes, it makes no sense.
Mm.
Why the fuck is Ezio standing on this rooftop going, "Move over there, launch the cannons, drop in the parachutes"? Like, oh my god, it's so
Yeah, well,
okay.
Gears 4 is another game. Like, I really loved Gears
Seriously?
4.
No way. Gears has one too.
Gears 4 has 2 tower defense little mini mechanic parts. They're kind of more horde rush the tower defense, but it definitely has some tower defense element to it. I just don't want that in my Gears game. I'm sorry. Get out of here. But they got rid of it in Gears 5, so.
It's so funny. I'm so ready to say if you need to change the gameplay style in your game at a moment's notice, maybe you should be working on the original gameplay style, more. However, Automata does it, and I'm not here to be a hypocrite, so.
I mean, if you can make it work, good on you, but more often than not, you're going to fall flat on your face.
You're not wrong about that. But man, yeah, Sunset Overdrive is one that, from a gameplay perspective, I wanted to enjoy
Same.
more of, but it just felt like everything about it felt like it was way too. It felt 90s extreme if you just plucked it out and put it in the 2000s, and you're like, I don't know if this works anymore. Like,
Yeah.
no joke. If you played this 10 years ago, but like you understood the limitations of the power of those consoles, I feel like Sunset Overdrive would have been killer. Like, it would have been one of those games that people would have been talking about, like, man, what if Sunset Overdrive came back out? But they never put that into thinking, well, it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, it definitely felt dated. That's totally true. But everything feels dated now if it's not 60 frames per second, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. All right, yeah, that's at least Sunset Overdrive.
that's not that overdue. But to end on a positive note, the last thing I have is Persona 4, the Golden. I still don't fucking know.
Hold on. I need to aim myself away from the microphone for this one. Whoa! Whoa! Persona 4 Golden. Oh!
I have
Oh,
thoughts.
that's a video game.
I have thoughts about Persona 4 Gold. I do.
Oh. Go. Do whatever you need to do. Hurt me.
So it's funny. All right, a little bit of background. I played Persona 5 Royale. That was the first Persona game I've ever played. I bought it at the beginning of lockdown last year, but I didn't get to it until the end of lockdown. Throughout the entire lockdown, I really didn't play any video games. I was kind of in a funk. I was playing multiplayer games, a lot of Apex Legends, which is a fun game, For the King, a lot of different stuff like that. Sea of Thieves, even a little bit. Again, there were some fun games in there, but not the things I normally play.
Things to pass the time because you're not feeling the mood for anything.
You got it, exactly. So I got to Persona 5 Royale, and I don't like JRPGs generally. Not my thing. I don't like 100-hour games normally. Not my thing. This game is now my third favorite game of all time, Persona 5 Royale. It was practically life-changing for me. It made me appreciate music in video games more than I've ever appreciated it before, which I've had plenty of conversations with that about. The music in Persona is a godsend to me. The game just is very special to me, and I've only known it for about a year now. So that's my background with Persona.
Now, I want to even delay it further because I like stringing people out.
Sure.
Now, my history with Persona, I had bought a Vita because of these two dorks that were podcasting on IGN. I remember their names,
I don't know who you could be talking about.
I have no idea who this Moriarty fellow is, No idea. Colin, I think, is how you pronounce it.
Colin, something like that.
Colin Powell, exactly. Secretary of State and frequent lover of the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
So
we won't talk about the other co-hosts, but yeah.
So they convinced. I'm pretty sure they sold at least 500,000 of the Vitas that sold in the U.S.
That's true.
And
that's why I bought my Vita.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I had bought my Vita. I saw it for $170 new, and I thought, okay, you know what? This is the time. I was going to community college at the time. The community college that I went to was right next to a Fry's Electronics, which, by the way, rest in peace, Fry's Electronics. I love you. You gave me so much time. I played Wind Waker HD for so many time in between class periods on the Wii U that you had there. God bless you, Fry's. And I remember going there into their Vita section, and people have been talking and praising Persona 4 Golden to high heavens on the Vita. And I just bought this thing. I don't know what to get. I look at it, it's $20. I don't exactly have much money. Then I'm like, I'll hold off on it. I go hang out with my girlfriend, who is now my wife at that time. And we went to a Shipley's. Shipley's is just a donut place and kolache place that is pretty common in Texas. And we're in the drive-thru, and I tell her, yeah, no, I got this Vita. I went to go pick it up. I was at Fry's, and I saw this game there called Persona, and her eyes lit up and went, Persona? And here's the thing. My wife doesn't play games. She has 4 siblings, and 3 of them were at some point very hardcore. One of them I'd say is still hardcore. Another one kind of went social, and the other one is a very huge retro gamer. So she was like, Persona? She's never played it, but she had walked in on her brother playing Persona so often, and she just knew those characters, and she loved the entire tone of it. And she immediately was like, yes, Persona 4 Golden. Oh my god, buy it. And I went, okay, cool, I'll buy it. I remember trying to play it for her for a little bit, but I would take that to community college, and I would just play it in between classes for almost an entire year. No joke, Persona 4 Golden was so good that when people tried to be my friend at community college, I would blow them off because they weren't as good as the friends in Persona 4 Golden. Like, that's my history of Persona 4 Golden. From there, I bought Persona 5 day one. I got the Take Your Heart edition, loved it. I bought Persona 5 Royal, the whatever that special edition was. I bought that with the entire mask and everything. I didn't play it until like about 3 months or so after that came out. And really, I forced myself to play through it to let my wife watch. Now, I, at the end of the day, enjoyed myself more with Persona 5. But it is completely undeniable that had the circumstances been different, I would have enjoyed Persona 5 Royal vastly more than Persona 5. But I will hold my opinion on Golden versus Royal until I replay Golden. Now, that is my history. I've delayed it enough. Addy, what is your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing. So I started Persona 4 Golden, and it was like a culture shock, honestly, because you get used to Persona 5 Royal and how fancy everything is and how slick it is. Persona 4 Golden isn't the same thing. It's a very different style. It's a very different setting. It's different characters. And for the first, like, I want to say maybe, like, well, okay, for reference, I'm about 30 hours in now. So for the first 5 hours or so, I'm like, who are these people? I don't like them.
Hold on. Hold on. I will let anyone know a Persona game for 30 hours, that's literally nothing. Like, the game doesn't even start until you have all the characters, and that's like 50 to 60 hours.
So I've still got a ways to go. But so for the first 5 hours, I'm like, who are these people? I don't know if I like these people. Where's Anne? Where's Ryuji? Where's Makoto? Like, I felt myself longing for them. And then I don't know. It just, it wasn't much longer after that. But, the music, again, the music is so infectious in these games. You start hearing that certain song that gets you in the mood. And then you find yourself, okay, well, I'll just spend a couple hours, doing my social links. And then 8 hours later, you realize you've just binged 8 hours of this game. So, long story short, Persona 4 Golden is fantastic. It's everything I thought it would be. I got to finish it, obviously, before I start ranking Persona games and everything like that. I'm not going to get into that conversation right now. But the game is fucking phenomenal. It's so, so, so good. These games are just what video games should be. There's not enough games that have this type of heart, that have these type of characters, that take this entire package of audio, visual, gameplay, and just melt it together in the perfection that Persona is.
Now, there is one thing that I did want to say, because what you said about where's Ryuji, missing the characters from Persona 5, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that helps you get into Persona 4 Golden more. Like for me, having Persona 4 Golden be my game that I played for like basically the first year that I was in college, like that's the thing. It was a shift from high school to college. You don't really have anyone that's around you, so I was in that perfect mind state for Persona 4 Golden. It's not like I was lonely because I am so content with loneliness that like I didn't fucking
Yeah.
care. Like it's not that. It's just that it gave me something I didn't think I needed, which was friends. I still had friends, but no joke, I just didn't want to make friends there anyways. But Persona 4 Golden were basically my college buddies. So I had that shift where I didn't feel like I had friends. So Persona 4 Golden came in at that right time. Or like that opening. I mean, you're playing as a protagonist who is in a new town, as you always do in Persona. So you playing it like that, where you're like, you miss the friends that you had in Persona 5, that should put you in the right mindset because whenever you move places, you are leaving people behind. So I think you kind of actually set yourself pretty good. But then again, I don't think it's anything unique from moving Persona 5 to 4. I think it's just unique to going to any Persona game
That's
from
actually,
there
yeah,
to
you know
another
what?
one.
I never thought of it that way, but that's actually a really good point. I like that. I think you're totally right. And to be honest with you, if I had played Persona 4 Golden first, I think it would have been the exact same thing going into Persona 5. I would have been like, oh, where's Chi? Where's Yukiko? Where's Risade? Like, where are these people? So I could totally understand that perspective. That actually makes a ton of sense. And it's kind of like a mind blowing moment. I'm having that GIF moment of the guy's mind blowing, but that's a great point, honestly. And they probably do that on
I,
purpose. Like that would not surprise me.
I will say this in my head, at least from how I have it currently ranked. I have Royal over Golden because I wouldn't say I am story over gameplay. I am probably 60-40 story gameplay. So I have Royal probably above Golden just because Royal makes it so streamlined to make sure that you don't miss anything, while Golden you do have to spend more time checking the overworld to actually get everything that you need out of it. So I put Royal over it, but it really does come down to gameplay because at the end of the day, I do like that Persona 4 Golden is different from the modern Personas. I know you haven't played Persona 3, and basically neither have I because I put in 30 hours, which, as we established for a Persona game, is fucking nothing. All right, it's peanuts. So Persona 3 and Persona 5 feel way more in line because they feel like they have a bit more on their mind, like they feel like they're a bit moodier and they feel like a bit darker. And then Persona 4 Golden is the preppy kid at the goth class, right? So like Persona 4 Golden is just so bubbly and so fun that if you evened out Persona 3, 4, and 5 with all the fixes that Royal has, I would probably choose Golden every single time because Persona 4 Golden, even though it can get dark, it still has this warm blanket, cozy feeling to everything, to the music, to the small town, and to the group of friends that you have. It's just a comforting location to go to that I feel like Persona 5, even though no matter how fucking great that game is, and I'm specifically talking Persona 5, not Royal, because Royal, like I've said, I would probably put over Gold. Whenever I finished Persona 5, I just was like, this was still very good, but I still enjoyed Golden more because I felt like there's something about a cozy feeling that I think works better for Persona than seriousness.
For sure. I totally agree with that. I think too, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't coin this. I've heard a lot of people say this. And again, I'm
Hmm.
only 30 hours in. Nothing for a Persona game, a lot
Hmm.
more to go. But that being
Oh yeah.
said, a lot of people have told me that the characters in Persona 4 Gold are better than the characters in Persona 5. And I'm like, well, how? Because the characters in Persona 5 are so fucking good. And what people have
Hmm.
told me pretty consistently is that in Persona 5, everybody feels like they're Joker's friends. Whereas Persona 4, it feels like they're all just one big group of friends. And 30 hours in, I totally understand that reasoning. And I will say that I'm actually bonding with these characters overall more than I did with the characters in Persona 5. It's just the character work in this game is so fucking phenomenal.
That helps to how I was playing Persona 4 Golden while I was at college. I didn't feel like I needed to talk to someone. I had a group of friends in my fucking pocket. If I ever needed to go hang out with someone, I had my Vita with me. God, this sounds so fucking depressing, but like, I swear, people, I swear, like, I was really content with going to college, going to class, and then getting out. Like, you don't understand how much I like being at home. So don't be like, oh my god, his college was so depressing. No, I barely dealt with it. If I wanted to make friends, I wouldn't have gone to Fry's every single time in between classes. I would have made friends. So no, it's not as sad as it sounds. It's just a personal choice where Persona 4 Golden is better than friends I could have made. And that's how fucking good it is.
The Persona games in general are something special. I certainly don't disagree with that. But yeah, I'm adoring Persona 4 Golden. I'm very excited to finish the game. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of next week. Definitely hoping to get it done before Replicant, because I do want to get into Replicant. This game, like I said, the hoops I went through to buy this game, thankfully you got me a really good deal on a PlayStation television. The hoops I had to go through to get this game, I could not get it running on my laptop. I don't like handheld gaming. I've wanted to play this game for months and months and months and months and months. So to finally get to play it, it feels fucking great.
Addy, the funny thing is that technically we're in the same boat where we basically have a Vita device to play Persona 4 Golden. Because no joke, had I never played another Vita game after Persona 4 Golden, I would have still said that was a successful device.
Absolutely. The whatever it was, $180 I spent on that PlayStation television is absolutely worth it if I never play anything other than Persona 4 Golden again.
Holy shit. So 180 your currency, that means that your currency, at least for US, what I spent on the Vita, you spent $10 more than I did, and we're in the same boat.
Exactly,
We're in the same boat.
Doubt, eh? That's funny.
Oh my god. Persona 4 Golden, if we're going to award anything that we said here, Persona 4 Golden is the recommendation.
Yes, yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Again, this is the type of game that, again, I don't like JRPGs. I'm not a big JRPG guy. I'm not a big 100-hour game guy. These type of games aren't usually my bread and butter. But this game can transcend that. If you want something just with a really good story, really good characters, and something that you're going to enjoy, you will not go wrong with Persona 4 Golden. Please give it a shot. At least either this, Persona 5, get into the Persona series however you want, but these are games worth playing, and more of these type of games should be in every gamer's rotation.
Persona 5 is a demo. I
meant Royal, yeah, sorry.
Persona 5 is a demo. If you play that for at max 10 hours and you like what you're doing, play Royal. If you are going to sit down and play a 100-hour game, play the right version. Don't play the lesser.
He's absolutely
right. Imagine if you were watching a TV show and you were watching a 5-season version, but there's like a 7-season version that expounds on something that makes it better. You're not going to watch the 5-season show because it's shorter, all right? Watch the 7-season show because it makes the story better. And that's what Persona 5 Royal does, and that's what Persona 4 Golden does. If you're playing Persona 4 and you're playing Persona 5, it better be because you want to see the difference and you will make it through to the next one. Because there's no other reason to ever touch those original games.
You said it best. Look, if you have a PS5, it's free on the PS collection. Download it, play it for 10 hours. If you're like, wow, I actually like this game, then delete the fucking game off your hard drive and go buy Persona 5 Royal, because you will not regret that.
You don't even need to play 10 hours. The moment that you're like, okay, I agree. Delete it.
I agree. 10 hours just to see if you like it or not. But at any point in that 10 hours, you're like, okay, I'm hooked. Fucking do it. It's so good. It's so good.
All right. Is that the list?
That is my list. I am done.
Woo! Look at that. Look at that. You guys don't know, but that was 4 hours.
Yeah, that was long. That was long. You're getting bonus content. Bang for your buck.
God, they're not even paying me. Look at that shit. Look, everyone who's probably listening to this probably knows me personally, and they're probably taking advantage of me for how much I know about technology. So not only am I not getting paid, I should be getting paid. So all of you that know me and need me to help you out with stuff, well, you know what? I'll still help you. That's fine. I don't mind. That's fine.
Next time you all see Ed, make sure you buy him a nice Mexican Coke.
You guys don't need to do that. Like, I go to Sam's Club, I buy Mexican Cokes by, like, the carton. Like, they're expensive, but look, me and my wife were allowed one stupid, ridiculous thing in this house, right? hers is an entire coffee station. Like whatever she needs there, like it's fine. You are completely go ahead. You want to buy some ridiculous Keurig pops that you want to get that like can only be special ordered, go for it. That's your stupid thing. My stupid thing is getting Mexican Cokes always in the fridge, no matter what. So you do not need to buy me Mexican Cokes. Just, I don't know, sit down and come watch a movie or something. I don't know. Probably stand me, I guess. That's the bare minimum, I guess. You can stand me.
Sounds fair to me. I play Persona. Do that too.
I'm not going to ask that much of you, but you should. You should consider it.
Consider
you should
it.
consider it heavily.
Consider it. At least consider it. Watch a YouTube video.
Absolutely. Addie, you know what? Thank you for your time. I had 2 things on this docket.
I'm glad I could help fill out the show for you, Ed, anytime.
All right. Now, I don't really still have an outro, so fuck it. I'm just going to hit stop. I'm sorry, guys. I'll figure out an outro later. 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 Sorry, guys. I'll figure out an outro later.